Hello, I'm State Representative John Payne of the 106th District in Dauphin County. Thanks for joining me for this month's V-Clip. In the State House, the Republican and Democratic caucuses choose a member of their party to serve as the whip. For each two-year legislative session, the whip assists the majority leader with the flow of legislation while the House is in session. Additionally, the whip solicits information and ideas from the members of their respective caucuses to aid the majority leader in advancing the caucus agenda. The Republican whip, referred to as the majority whip, is Representative Stan Saylor of York County, who I'm pleased to have join me this month. Stan was elected to the House in 1992. He served as chairman of the House Republican Policy Committee during the 2009-2010 session, was elected by the Republican caucus to serve as a majority whip in January this year. Currently serving his 10th term in the State House, representing York County, please welcome Stan Saylor. Stan, thanks for joining me today.
Good to be here.
How about just tell us a little bit of what it's like being the whip?
Well, it's very challenging some days. You have in the House we have 112 members this year in this current session, and sometimes people talk about herding cats and everything else. We come from a variety of districts, and ethnic backgrounds and religions and stuff. And so, as whip, my job is to try and keep our 112 members together on the same page moving forward. We all have our own ideas, but we want to make sure that we as Republicans are governing Pennsylvania. So that's kind of my job, is to make sure I listen to all the members and try and keep us all on the same page.
Well, I know that's a full-time job because while we are very good friends, I've had bad days where I get upset with my whip and I'll say, something, and you have to deal with that 111 more other people that are, having a bad day or a tough time back in a district, or they just can't support that issue because that issue is so charged back home. And I don't think a lot of the people that we represent understand that while what works for us in Dauphin and York County may not even come close to working in Erie.
Absolutely. And that's one of my jobs, is to try and of course, listen to the members who say, why are you doing this? Or we should change this bill. And of course, I need to I spend time before we come into session, and I make sure I know the bill and that piece of legislation and my staff, so that I can explain to John Payne why we're doing it. And if you can't support it, I understand, but I have to make sure that you know all the details of it. And I also have to understand, you have got to represent your district. You're not here to represent the Republican Party or the Republican caucus. You're here to represent the Dauphin County District, which includes Hershey. So I got to take in consideration what you're here to represent.
Well, and that's something you have to do also, is in addition to being a whip and having to put up with 111 of us and try to get us on board to get that famous 102, because we have to have 102 votes to get anything passed, you have to be, if you will, a regular representative back in your home district.
Absolutely. I still have the constituent problems that everybody else has in their own districts, and issues that are a little bit different. It's a good thing that you and I have fairly similar districts. I don't have Hershey and Chocolatetown, but I do have a lot of farmers and suburban areas in my district. And it's a balancing act between being a state representative for York County and also then being the Republican majority whip, and trying to balance out my duties in representing the state of Pennsylvania as a whole to a certain degree, and also representing my district.
Well, you do a good job. I want to close in two quick points. One would be, I think it's important to let our viewers know, we try not to move a bill if we don't have 102 votes. We don't want to lose a vote on the House floor. And we go through a process both in caucus, and I'm sure you have deputy whips to try to help you out, to do like a straw poll, like where are we at? Talk just briefly about that.
Sure. I appoint deputy whips who are from all parts of the state to make sure that all parts of the state are represented. And their job is to basically work with about 6 members and to get their feel on legislation that's coming forward and where we're at. Is there objections to certain pieces of bills or amendments that may be going on to bills? And their job is also to let members from all over the state know also why we're moving forward and how we're going to do this. So the members are very well informed.
Well, you do an outstanding job. And I want to just comment that when Stan was a policy chairman, he and I went together in Pittsburgh to have a hearing out there on some greenhouse, if you will, or some medical technology, some new cutting-edge technology that we got to see. And we're inspired and came back to Hershey and to the Med Center and to HCAR in Hershey and had a hearing there. And that has really turned out to be very beneficial, both, I think, for us as members to see that stuff and for Hershey. So thanks again for doing that. Thank you very much.
I'll be glad to. I'm glad we're doing a bill together on that.
Yeah, we are. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me for this month's V-Clip. As a reminder, I'll be sending an update each month as a way to keep you informed on the issues taking place in Harrisburg and throughout the 106th District. If you have any questions, please contact my office. The contact information appears within this email message. Till next time, I'm John Payne.